G'day guys, how's it going? Hope all is good in your part of the world. Welcome back, of course, to the Time Bomb channel, and today's watch review is of the Sona Legacy Basilica. Massive thanks again to Freddie over at Sona Watches for the loan of this watch, and I requested this particular one as I had featured the Nostalgia, which I'll put a link and a picture just up here. I did a review of that one a while ago, and whilst I liked it, I also felt that it was perhaps just a little bit too small for me. And so then the Legacy here is the, shall we say, the older, bigger brother. And again, another reason for asking for this particular one, the Basilica, is that it is the all brushed finishing version also. And to me, as a consequence, it sort of hits every branch of the dress watch tree. Let me just zoom in a fraction for you there. All right. So again, just if you're not familiar with the brand, Sona as a micro brand have piqued my interest as they have a very, very, very clear mission. And that mission is to not offer any circular round watches whatsoever. And that to me takes some serious determination to stay with that mission. So they absolutely get my respect for that. To note also, the version or the model is called the Basilica name comes again, or is paying tribute, excuse me, to Sona's interest and inspiration from architecture. The Basilica here coming from the Basilica of the Sacred Heart in Brussels. So overview done. Let's kick off with some key specs. So the larger version, this one then is 35 mils across, maybe a fraction extra for the crown there. It is 45 mils north to south, 11 mils deep. It comes then with 50 meters worth of watery goodness. So perhaps, yeah, personally I like a little more, but perhaps it's about right for the style of this watch. And on a leather strap, it weighs in around then 62 grams. So it is light enough and sized enough, I think, to work for many, many wrists indeed. The crystal up top then is a sapphire, and it comes then, as you can see, effectively, super effectively then, 5 layers of AR coating. So you are getting minimal reflection. Obviously, I've got a light about 30 centimeters off this watch, so there is going to be some reflection. But yeah, it's a super piece of sapphire sitting up top, as you see, just a little smidgen over the bezel and edging there. Buzzing away inside, we have the Miyota 2035 quartz. And again, that's another reason why I kind of like the brand Sona, because they've picked an interesting choice here with the 2035. The 2035, I think, is probably one of the best selling quartz movements around. I think the statistics show over 5 billion units of these sold, and they are cheap and dependable. And in addition to that, they feature metal parts where other manufacturers use plastic within those cheaper movements. And so as a result, the 2035 has quite the fan base. If that doesn't work though for you, the legacies also then come with a hand winding version also. For me, this watch, let me just throw it on wrist while I'm speaking, it would be either, you know, a dress watch or an office watch, and as a consequence, I think I'm happy with it to be that grab and go quartz. And as I was referencing there, you can see how the speckage, let me just zoom out a fraction there. So my wrist is 7¼ inch, just for reference. And as you can see, I think this larger of the two models really does sit much, much, much better on wrist as a consequence. So yeah, really do like this one. And again, thanks Freddie, because yeah, the other one, the Nostalgia, it was great, but I just felt it was just a fraction too petite. Whereas this one, yeah, I mean, it's just a brilliant size all round. Where was I going next? Yeah, one aspect, and probably the eagle-eyed amongst you will have noted that whilst that Miyota 2035 is a very well-renowned movement, here in this particular watch, as you can see, is not doing a great job of hitting the the hour markers here. It could be, again, that this particular watch is a review watch that's been sent out to me, so the ones for sale may be better, but again, perhaps that's something that you might want to pick up with the brand if you're looking to buy one. The dial, well, it's described as being black, but it seems to spend an awful lot of time not being black. Shiny silver, grey, sunburst, everything going on there, and I think I like it even more than that because, yeah, I mean, you could see it working as a pure, deep, fully light-absorbing black, but the fact that it's got all of that sheen on there, I think, just adds something additional. The crown over here then is signed, and it's a push-pull. And let me just pop it out, and it actions. It's quite smooth. Yeah, as I say, that movement is not a massively expensive movement, but here you're getting all the responsiveness I think that you need. There is C3 Superluminova used here, and one of the things that I like about it, obviously, is then you've got the wider markers at the 12, 3, 6, and 9. So that's helps to, I think it stands out, the loom stands out then better on that smaller dial. But I think that the other hour markers perhaps could have benefited from perhaps another coat of that loom, I think. Again, this is a review watch, so you might find that the ones that are sold are different. The case body, of course, featuring those wonderful slab swellings on either side. And as I mentioned before, you know, the sapphire just sits on top of that. And one thing, again, that I like about this slightly larger version of these two is that I think the case body, the design, the way that it's put together, it just allows it to stand out better and function better. When it was on the smaller version, it was just perhaps a little bit too petite and fussy. This one, yeah, is much prouder and more confident in doing so. And I think as well, the fact that it is brushed, it means that it is less blingy, and it sort of dresses the watch down a little bit, and that in my eyes is just a little bit better. The watch has been sent. Bear with me a second. Let me just pull that one in. Where's it gone? Lost it here on the desk. So the watch did come on these two leathers, and whilst I like them because I think, you know, they match the silver and the black of the dial, they do work very well. However, Freddie did talk to me about something else, and this was a new mesh that they'd just been coming out with. Yeah, it changes the watch completely. Let me just pause there and swap the straps out, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so just before I pop it onto that, just also wanted to reference, excuse me, that again, all the attention to detail from Sona, all of the straps are signed on both ends. They all come then on quick release, and the leathers all feature the deployants. I'm not the biggest fan of deployants. I prefer my traditional two-piece, but anyway, I know that a lot of people are big fans of those. They also provide them in different lengths as well, so easy to get the right fit. But wait for this. The watch transforms. I don't know, just to me on this mesh, it just elevates it to being something else. And all day long I've been wearing it on this and just thinking to myself, yeah, I will promise to try and wear it on the leather to see if my tastes can adapt. But at the moment, to me, that steel, I don't know, it adds something, an additional framing of the dial with that monotone silver all the way through. I don't know, it just absolutely works. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? On the leather or on the steel? I don't know. Let me just throw it on wrist for you. You can see it here as well. I think, yeah, I've got some outside shots as well that I can bung up here too for you, so you can just see what I'm doing here. Yeah, as I was saying, I just wanted to show you. I've got some outside shots, obviously, of what the watch looks like, but yeah, to see here in the room, I really like that. As I say, it just elevates the watch to a completely different level, and it works for me perfectly. So yeah, I've been singing the praises of the watch. There are a couple of aspects perhaps that I think the brand might want to consider working on in the future. I think one of those might be the case back. The font on the case back at the moment is pretty straightforward. Maybe they want to add something a little bit more ornate. It might yeah, it might sort of fit with that retro feeling a little bit more as well. And then also perhaps considering something like the screws. I've seen quite a few square watches recently where they feature multiple screws across the bottom, and the top, just to add, again, a little bit of design aspect to it. And lastly, I don't know, it's always so subjective, isn't it? And that's the hands. Hands are so vital, obviously, to the dial. And I've been looking at some squares recently and just sort of seen how that the hands on this one are very, 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 very minimalist, and I think they've been chosen for a very clear purpose, and that is obviously is that they match the hour markers. But for example, you can see the contrast of the seconds hand. I think it's just nice and pointy. So I'm wondering if something a little bit larger, maybe a little bit more ornate as well on the hands might sorry, there's a big speck of dust right in the middle there. Something a little bit more ornate on the hands might be something that the brand considers in the future. Anyway, again, these are just personal observations. Over to you guys. Do you reckon that the larger, which ones of these do you prefer, the larger or the smaller? Look forward to hearing your thoughts as always. Thanks as always for your time and for your view. Massive thanks again to Sona for the loaner of this one, and we'll catch you all in the next vid. Cheers, guys.